Hello beautiful people, welcome back. In today's video, a couple is currently going viral just because of the groom's terrible vows. It is definitely worth watching. Let's take a look.
Damn. I look good. Tonight we are here to celebrate us. And I look good. Long story short, we just want... Oh. Sean, I've known you for 30 years. I love you, bro. Badu, known you for 30 years too. I love you too. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I remember our first date, you walked through the door, and I was like, damn. She alright. I was like, she's super thick.
So the clip we just saw shows a pretty, gorgeous Asian bride wearing a custom-made, well-tailored dress from Nigeria. Nigeria has very good tailors. As is typical of wedding receptions, she and her groom are giving speech to the guests they invited. It was the man's turn to speak, and then the man looks into the crowd, and rather than thank everyone who came and speak about he and his future wife love together, the groom chose to focus on himself and then turns to his bride and said, "You look alright." Yes, that was what he said. Just that. Exactly how you saw it in that video. The way he kept emphasizing how he looks feels like he was exhausted from hearing family and friends compliment his wife's look. And he just couldn't wait to draw attention to himself as soon as he had a chance. And they're just starting. This is supposed to be forever. And he can't hide his jealousy. Well, let's quickly get into reactions from people, and I'll be back to drop my opinion. Drop your thoughts in the comments.
Because I remember our first date, you walked through the door, and I was like, damn. She alright. I was like, she's super thick.
Another shut up ring turned humiliation ritual. Now, the thing is, whatever a man says about you is really a projection of how he feels about himself. He keeps repeating, damn, she was just all right. She was super thick, which is a dig on her weight. Look at this man. He can't even button the tuxedo jacket. And he looks like he's in his 12th trimester. Like, clearly he has a problem with his own weight and he's projecting it onto her. Whenever someone has to say something over and over, they're clearly insecure about it. He doesn't think he looks good. He's embarrassed about how he looks on his wedding day. He clearly has a problem with how he looks and he's projecting his stuff onto her. These men will put you down to make themselves feel like the prize and look like the prize. Oh, if I say it often enough, it's true. She looks great. She's a beautiful bride on her wedding day and he looks like that. But this goes back to what I'm telling you all the time. Men seek women for a sense of identity. They use the women they're in relationship with to give them identity. If he was with who he thought was a 10 out of 10, he could ignore his reflection in the mirror. See, men think your beauty transmutes them. That if he was with Kelly Rowland or Justine Skye or whoever, because he'll be perceived as a big baller, it will make him more attractive than he actually is. See, men want to use you rather than doing work on themselves because, sir, who's stopping you from hitting the treadmill? And he's taking his self-hatred out on you. And that goes back to what I said about the earlier video. This is why you should never be with a man who's not attracted to you right off the bat. Men are incapable of growing in love. They're incapable of growing in attraction. And it's because they claim they're visual or whatever. It's because they don't see women who they aren't attracted to as human. Like, men are actively cruel to women they are unattracted to. And that's because 9 times out of 10, that woman reminds them of some characteristic they don't like in themselves. So it's just a way for them to channel their self-hatred onto someone else. And they are cruel and violent towards women who they find unattractive. So forget love. They'll never even see you as a person if they don't want to hit as soon as they meet you. And it's going to end up like this if you're lucky. It's going to end up in humiliation ritual. If you're not so lucky, it's going to end up with you being unalived. This is why I do this work. Women need to realize how dangerous these men are, because they're not going to leave you alone on their own. You're saying, well, why are they sticking around? Why are they hanging out if they're not attracted to you? It's for the labor. I'm sure this woman has something on the ball. She probably has a good job, money, education, background, and he wants all those benefits. Plus, the part the men never want to admit is they can't get their dream girl. They can't afford her, and even if they could, women have standards too, and they can't off pure looks get the women that they're attracted to. So not only is the woman they settle for a convenience financially and a good target for their rage, she works as a sort of mental blocking mechanism. They marry this woman, they propose to this woman, they chase the relationship because in their minds, she becomes the reason that they're not with Sydney Sweeney or whoever. Oh yeah, she made me be in this relationship, and if I weren't married to her, I could have had my dream girl. Conveniently forgetting that they were single before this woman came along. If she hadn't settled for him, he would still be alone, probably broke, miserable, unable to move to the next stage of life. So they want you for all the benefits so that he can sit up in the man cave of the house that you've provided, driving the car he couldn't have afforded without your help, and say, man, if it weren't for her, it'd be a beautiful life. And they get into these relationships to use your resources to attract the women they could never afford on their own. You're like, why get into a marriage? Why get into a relationship if you're just going to cheat? Because he couldn't afford to cheat without you. Women spend 90% of their paycheck on the house, and men only spend 35%. And honestly, with black women, it's probably even more exacerbated because we're far more educated, and a lot of times y'all are reaching down to this gutter riffraff with no education and no money. He's calling you big money and giving you that hug from behind while you're paying for everything. And he's using his savings or your money from your joint account to spend on all the women he could never afford. And you're thinking he doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't have to be a real woman. It could be a paper woman, corn, it could be a digital woman, cam girls or OF, anything like that. How many women go and look at the transactions and are like, oh my God, he's spending hundreds, he's spending thousands on these women he can't even touch because in real life, he can't get so much as a sniff of them. But he's still paying for the fantasy that he could be in their orbit. And meanwhile, he's mistreating you in real life. Like the girl I talked about last week, the whole Valentine's Day drama, her boyfriend's birthday, was on Valentine's Day and he claimed, oh, I've never been celebrated. She breaks her neck to give him a great celebration and then puts on the, lingerie afterwards. And he's sitting there scrolling girls in lingerie on his phone while she, a real girl, sits next to him getting no attention, no appreciation, no gifts, no happy Valentine's Day. That's what they do. They enter relationships to establish a hierarchy that they're on top of because they're losers in real life. That guy was a loser without a real job, without any real hobbies or interests or friends. And so you enter a relationship to feel like you're the superior of someone. And that's what a lot of these loser guys will do. Stop falling for it. It's not love, it's enmeshment. Because I know you can't be happy in these situations, and I know she's miserable. Here it is, supposed to be one of the happiest days of your life. Look at this beautiful flower arch she's probably provided. Gorgeous wedding dress, beautiful venue, and here you are in front of all your friends and family getting humiliated rather than being loved and adored. Don't settle. You deserve a lot more than this. But you have to start viewing being by yourself as something good as well. A lot of women think, oh, I'd rather be in a toxic relationship. Like, no, you have to love yourself. Only when you value your own company will you be able to get into a good relationship because it'll be an addition and not the whole pie. Viewing being alone as substandard is how you end up in these relationships. And this is in front of an audience. Imagine how miserable the day-to-day relationship has to be if he felt this comfortable mistreating her in front of a crowd. He thrived off of every time the crowd laughed at her. He's not laughing with you. He's laughing at you, and he's gotten everybody else to do the same on what's supposed to be this happy day that centers you. He's jealous. That's the other thing. Men know that women have inherent value. And like I said, she's probably more accomplished than him. She's probably bringing all this stuff to the table. And he's jealous of all that she has going. And he tries to attach himself to her star so he can get the benefits. But he's also angry and wants to see her brought low, which is why he was mocking her at the altar and at the reception. This is the love we're supposedly missing out on, ladies. There's absolutely no reason in the year of our Lord 2025 to be with an XY unless he's adding exponentially to your life. All this man is adding to her life is suffering. And like I said, she's still blessed because it's just words right now. But this anger that's really self-loathing turned outward from men will turn violent in a second, because they begin to fantasize all that's between them and a beautiful life is you. They want all the things you bring, all of your resources, without you being present, and that can turn into a murderous rage. Like the guy up there in Baltimore who claimed that his wife had been unalived by a homeless person she rolled down the window to give change to, and really it was him and the stepdaughter conniving to take this woman out and enjoy on her dime the beautiful life that she had created. But she had married significantly down. She was a highly educated woman with plenty of money, and he wanted all those resources without her in the picture. And even though they were caught and brought to justice eventually, she's still gone. Her family, her child can never get her back. But she began to think, oh, I'm getting older. Oh, I'm past 40. Oh, I have to settle. Don't believe the lies. If you're an older woman, first of all, you're in a more eligible way to marry up rather than anything else, because you are more educated, you have more life experience. How many women in their 40s, 50s, and beyond have married very well for the first time? Melody Hobson, Dr. Moyo, Gwen Norton, all married billionaires. Older black women who married billionaires. 40s, 50s, and beyond. You're either going to marry very well or you're going to marry very poorly. You're going to marry disadvantageously. Mary J. Blige, Jill Scott, Marsha Ambrosius. So choose ye this day. Are you going to wait for an actual match that suits all that you have to offer? Or are you going to be lonely, desperate, believe the negative, false tale you've been fed about how you're going to be alone forever, you're going to be a Catwoman, and just leap at the first thing that presents itself and end up in a miserable situation like this? The choice is yours.
Damn. I look good.
But, these are red flags from the beginning. And to me, it looks like he's been doing this. Like she used to this by now. Like he's been trying to humble her from day one. And I wonder if her parents and everybody else is letting her know, like, hey, friend, you don't see what's going on here? This what you want to marry? And I always say this because, I'm always in a wedding, or I'm sitting in the seats, fanning myself because I'm ready to go, or I'm waiting for the reception to happen. And then people get married. And then they start complaining about the things that their spouse is doing. But we saw that way before the wedding. We saw it at the reception. We saw it at the altar. Sometimes you just have to pay attention. I know you want to get married. Shoot, I want to get married for you. I want to blow bubbles. I want to throw rice. Shoot, I want to take pictures. I want to dance in the name of love. But sometimes you got to open your eyes. And sometimes these people are just not it. I know you about 40, 35. You're feeling the pressure to get married and have kids. But you can't settle, boo. Don't settle. Let me know what y'all think about this, because I feel like that he was really trying to give her a humbling moment. Let me know.
Damn. I look good.
I don't believe men should speak at weddings. I never really did. Even when they get to doing the vows, it gets interesting. You stuck with me through everything. Like, I honestly believe that particular man is probably already embarrassing enough, but the fact that he could not even control himself on the wedding day, and who gave him the mic? Who said he can give a speech? I'm confused. Men really love their homeboys. They do everything for their homeboys. They do it for the respect of their homeboys. They don't want to look like they a simp. And now you at my wedding, so I really can't look like I'm a simp. Like, I don't even understand why men marry women, why they act like they like women, when really all they want to do is hang out with their homeboys all day, be on the game with their homeboys all day, go outside to a bar with their homeboys all night. Like, if it's the homeboy is the wife, then just say that.
Damn. I look good.
This man is so interested in looking cool in front of his friends that he doesn't mind sacrificing his new bride to do so. You're going to say that you look good not once but twice, but then you're going to look at her with her hair and her makeup and her beautiful dress and say you look alright. Then you're going to take the time to shout each of them out. But we have no words for the bride? And then when you thought she was about to take the microphone from you, you snatch it away from you like, don't you dare embarrass me in front of my homeboys. It's the same thing with the cake smashing and the same thing with the embarrassing vows. It's all about performing for the audience of men in the crowd. I'm not a simp for marrying her because look how I talk to her. I'm not a simp for marrying her because look how I treat her. Like, it's always about the men in the crowd. That's why they do it. You don't have to be the groom that's moved to tears and bawling his eyes out watching his new bride come down the aisle with her father. But who you also don't have to be is the kind of groom that's too cool to tell everybody that he thinks his wife is beautiful on her wedding day, after knowing how much time, effort, and money she put into doing so. You also don't have to be the groom that shouts out his best friends in his toast, but doesn't mention his own wife once.
Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section. You already know how we do it over here. I know you have a lot to say. If this is your first time watching my video, my name is Vicadi. I would love to hear from you. The whole drama feels like he forgot he was marrying the woman beside him, because what was all the show off about him and his friends is doing? There was no point where they talked about love for each other and their future together. Obviously, the bride knows he talks too much. We can see how she rolled her eyes and grabbed the mic so he can stop embarrassing them. She's aware, but she still married him. Did you all see how he said, "I want to celebrate us"? And then he pulled off his palm from his wife's and then pointed it at himself. I guess the us it spoke about means him and his own boys, that it hanged at the end of his speech.
Sean, I've known you for 30 years. I love you, bro. Badu, known you for 30 years too. I love you too.
Well, if she likes his reaction, I love it. This whole drama is giving vibes like they have been in this relationship for so long. She's been putting up with so much stuff from him, but because she wants to fulfill society expectation of getting the married woman title, she doesn't mind the red flags because she's obviously aware of his behaviors. So I strolled into the bride's TikTok account. Her name is Lily Monroe. You might want to check it out on TikTok. And she was speaking in defense of her husband. This brings me to the question, when will women learn to stop making excuses for men? When? When are we going to learn? Friends and viewers tried helping her see the red flags in the comments, but she's blinded in love. This is why I always preach that women need to learn to love themselves, whether they are in a relationship or not. Being married doesn't validate you. There's nothing wrong in wanting love or being married, but ignoring the red flags, that is where the issue is. It always costs the woman later. This is not the first time such situation has happened, where a man tells or shows his bride who he really is at the altar, but she ignores it. Woman, if you keep doubting your place in your relationship, if you feel like he doesn't value you, if you feel like you're not a priority in his life, believe him. It is what it is. Actions don't lie at all. If you must do forever with someone, it should be with someone who is obsessed with you in a healthy way. A man who truly loves you will not have you rolling your eyes or grabbing the mic while he's talking, so he stops embarrassing you in public. A man who loves you and wants you to be his forever woman will make you feel loved and wanted by them. It won't hype up his friends and make you feel humbled. Never. It will communicate clearly about your future together and praise you for choosing to do forever with him. It will make you his queen and make your wedding day all about you. It's okay to cut off at the altar. It's okay to tell him you can't continue. I've seen situations where men do this to women without feeling guilty. They always choose themselves and get praised for it. It's high time we as women begin to, learn to cut off when we do not feel safe and move on, regardless of how much we have invested into the relationship. It's better to regret now than waste more years that we cannot get back. If a man is playing in your face, he's simply telling you he doesn't want you, and this wedding is all your idea. Sis, listen to him. Please don't waste your time. And if you are scared of the future, that should even be the least of your worries. While you are there entertaining the man who doesn't want you, your real man who will worship the floor you walk on is waiting for you. He will find you and you will forget all you have lost and find peace. If you also do not want to ever give a man a chance in your life, good choice. You will find more joy when you decenter men and enjoy your singleness. Well, that's it, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you're yet to subscribe, please hit that subscribe button now. And please like and share this video with someone you would like to be part of these conversations. All opinion are welcome, but please just do it respectfully. And if this is your first time, please check out my channel, check out my playlist on how to manage your relationship. There are so many interesting videos. Thank you all for tuning in, guys. I'll see you again tomorrow with another exciting one.